This is a creator, I think she's called Robin Smith. She moved from Canada to United States. And the current political climate between Canada and United States, it's kind of very tense. That the idea that a Canadian can decide to move to the United States, if some people would consider them crazy, but it's just life. To them, Trump is not a threat, or even if he is a threat, he's not a threat enough to stop them from living their life the way they think they should. So we are going to watch this creator and at least give my thoughts as someone who moved from some place to Canada. And do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to subscribe. And why do you need to subscribe? I think it's because it's kind of good to do so.
When people talk about America, the conversation usually leans negative. Complaints about the cost of living, politics, healthcare, and even safety. You've probably heard all the reasons people say they want to leave the US.
I'm gonna agree with her that my view of United States kind of tilted a little bit post Obama. That is because of all the stuff that I used to hear about United States never like dampened my enthusiasm, like my desire to move to the United States. I mean, people in America have been shooting each other since I don't know, the invention of guns. That never stopped my desire to move there. There have been like racial issues, like where black people are shot by police officers that didn't do it until Donald Trump. And the arrival of Donald Trump kind of just changed it because all of a sudden there are these systems that I thought were in place that could protect and allow people, someone like me, come from some other place and thrive in that environment. Of course, legally.
So in this video, I'm going to walk you through both sides, why I personally wanted to come here, and then how I see the biggest reasons people usually give for leaving. But before I dive in, I want to make it clear. This video is about my personal opinions and experiences and the reasons.
It's always good to clarify that life is lived differently by people, and it is important that we set that aside. I know that there's usually the general standards of certain things that happen a certain way. The pattern is clear. But again, even with that clear pattern, we experience life in such a diverse way that you would be shocked as to why, as a black man in Canada, there are things that people would presume I like. And I would say I don't. Or maybe I would say I don't like them, and I do. So we could lie about those things. Anyway.
So first, why I chose to move here. And there's four main reasons. The first reason is opportunity. And by opportunity, really what I'm referring to here is capitalism. America is the land of the American dream. And the
America has money. And that's just a fact. You like Donald Trump, you don't like him. You like the system, it has money. Now, there may be an imbalance of how that money is distributed, but for something to be distributed, there has to be the existence of it. And there is existence of that money in the United States. I'm not saying Canada is poor. I love this place. It has money too. And people are thriving. And some of them are even immigrants. So yeah, there is a Canadian dream. And some people move here, pursue it, and catch it.
American dream exists because it allows people to go from virtually nothing to anything beyond their wildest imagination. And while I think that the Canadian dream does...
I'm going to say this with the straightest face ever. In Kenya, if you're poor, you're fucked. Need I repeat? I will. For those behind and for those who are like scrolling on their phones when I said this, in Kenya, when you're poor, you're fucked. When you're poor, you don't have a voice. You can never seek justice. There is none for you. When you're poor, even your family doesn't want to hear your opinion. Your opinion doesn't matter. That is why everyone strives to be rich, because money is just beautiful.
Exist and is very real and does allow people that are in lower socioeconomic situations to increase their socioeconomic status. I don't think you can go beyond a certain level. And that exists because capital...
Well, I don't know whether that is true, but I just want to at least get to a certain level and then see. Can I just get to that level where I can't move beyond? But for now, I just need to experience that. First thing first.
capitalism just isn't as rampant in Canada. There's no place in the entire world that gives you as much opportunity as America, and I wanted to be in the epicenter of because I want my career and my life and everything to be as big as I can possibly make it. And that moves into reason number 2 of why I chose to move to the States. Market size. Being in Canada, it's a population of only 40 million people. The market size is very small compared to America, where there's a population of over 330.
That said, America has everything within that space. And that is why you see immigrants leave and go there and make a name for themselves. And I get it, that is why some people don't like that. If you came from some rundown, dingy quarter of the earth that no one knows of, and then you come here and you outdo me using the system that was designed for me to help me thrive, and now you realize you have actually managed to interpret the sides of it and understand it better than I do and make it work for you and not for me. Get the fuck out of my country. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But I do understand America. I do understand America from this. The market size is something.
People. The state I live in, California, is almost as large as Canada. It just demonstrates how much opportunity is available. It's easier to find opportunity and build more things for yourself when there's more people that are able to buy it and more people that are interested in the same things that you're interested in. My third reason why I chose to be here is salaries.
Money!
What Canadians often talk about is how salaries in Canada do not match the cost of living. And that is significantly more true in Canada than it is in the United States.
Can I even talk about Kenya in there? My sister's just telling me of the fact that she got an upgrade as a teacher and she hasn't received her upgrade salary for the last 5 months. Now, you have to also consider the fact that when she got that upgrade, she moved up on the tax bracket immediately. So I think she's being taxed for something she's not even receiving yet. To an extent that the upgrade is right now more of a liability to her than it ought to have been.
Cost of living in Canada is pretty high. Housing, we have a huge housing bubble in Canada, which I will get to in a second, but we do not.
I don't know what to say about the housing situation in Toronto. I just hope it gets better. If any politician can figure out the housing issue in Toronto, he deserves to be the prime minister or mayor or whoever they are for life.
When I lived in Toronto, an average salary for somebody starting out in their career a couple years in is 75,000 Canadian dollars. And let's keep in mind the Canadian dollar is 30% lower than the American dollar. But rent for a one-bedroom apartment that was basically a shoebox, 450 square feet, cost me about $2,400 a month.
Fact. And I don't know how that, if that will ever change. I hope it does. But I don't know.
It doesn't match up. I pay less rent per dollar in San Francisco than I did in Toronto. And I make significantly more being in San Francisco because salaries match. Salaries are significantly higher and the US dollar gets you a lot further. Briefly mentioned this part before, but the fourth reason why I chose to be in the United States is housing.
I mean, to be honest, that would be a credible reason.
Housing is a huge problem in Canada. We have huge housing bubbles, and houses that are just in any other place in the world would be considered very low status homes go for over $1 million. It makes it very unachievable combining the market size, salaries, and housing to imagine a life where you're going to achieve all your dreams and achieve.
Yeah, to be honest, some of the houses I go to, like I have a friend who he and his wife share a one-bedroom unit, and they pay $2,500 and they split it $1,250, and I'm usually like, oh, I think this is in a fair market would probably like be like 1,600, 1,700. That additional $800 is just a little bit unfair because it's not really that much space.
Living in San Francisco, which is one of the most expensive housing markets in the United States, I can still get a nicer house here based on the higher salary that I'm making and how the housing market is if I was working in Toronto at an equal job and wanted an equal sized house. Because the cost of living just matches better with the housing market in this country. And if I went anywhere else in the United States, anywhere that's not one of the coastal places, I could probably afford two houses for the price of one. So those are the four reasons that I chose to move to the States. And here. So when people talk about the reasons why they want to leave and talk negatively about America, I'm not disputing that. I don't think that there is not problems in America. I think a lot of those problems also exist in Canada. So when we talk about things like unemployment rates, that doesn't impact me because legally I am required to have a job to remain in the United States. So if I was unemployed, if I didn't get a new job within 60 days, I would get sent home. When people talk about political divide, that is just as rampant in Canada. We have significant political divide, more divide than has ever existed before in Canadian politics. So when people talk of political divide, one, I'm not involved because I'm not a US citizen, so I can't vote, but it's something I'm also seeing in my home country as well. Again, same thing with
I mean, like there was a federal election in Canada, and I slept. I slept, woke up, and got to learn of the results in the morning. Now let's talk about American elections. The last 3 or 4 elections, we don't always sleep. We kind of just like, you wake up to just check, like, oh, where is it now? Where's Wisconsin now? Where's Michigan now? So yeah, American election, just like everything else, is big, and so does the divide is more pronounced. Even though I think if you go visit America, you probably find people just are more concerned about their neighborhood being safe or like food being cheap, like everyday concerns like here in Canada. But again, whenever you hear that from outside, you think that Americans are always like at each other's neck about politics 24/7. I don't know.
cost of living. When people talk about how high the cost of living is in the United States, I just told you about the Canadian housing market and how Canadian salaries are about 30% lower and the currency is 30% lower. Cost of living is actually pretty equal for me being in the US versus being in Canada. Healthcare is another one. Thankfully, because I'm legally required to be employed here, most employers, specifically in California, are legally required to provide me with healthcare. I believe that it's a huge problem. I grew up with socialized healthcare and I'm really grateful for that. I don't love how the American healthcare system runs, but it's not something that I need to concern myself with. Is it the last part?
As someone from abroad who came to Canada, when I first had my my first health scare, oh my god, that was the most beautiful thing, that I could just up and take an Uber and go straight to the hospital, and all the people they asked for was my like ID and my OHIP, and I didn't have to spend shit. I am so grateful for that. That was one of the most awesome things that I ever experienced here.
Safety. I do worry about my safety in America. It's definitely something that I have to consider more being here than being in Canada, because Canada is significantly safer. I'm appreciative of the fact that I get to live in California, which is an exceptionally safe state compared to some other places. I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of my...
Oh, you said California is safe? Oh my god. The kind of stuff I hear about California out here, you'd think that California is just all homelessness. Then there's Hollywood. And then there's more homelessness, and then there's crime, and then there's illegal immigrants, and then there's some black teenagers looting shops. Like, it's rare to hear something good about California. It has one of the biggest economies, but the kind of stuff I hear about California would shock you.
So that's why I chose to move to the United States.
I think personally, I don't know if I'll ever move to the United States. I like Canada. I do appreciate Canada. I would love more money, of course. Right now, I'm not even making money anyway. I'm still in school and all that. If you got to this moment, thank you. Thank you for watching. And again, because you got to this place, I mean, you really got here. What's wrong with you subscribing? Subscribe. And comment. I want to hear from you.